Welcome in another installment now of Trust Matters, Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions with Sean Robertson of Gateville Law Firm, located in Yorkville and online at gatevillelawfirm.com. As we welcome Sean in for another show for today. And Sean, today we focus on business owners and why it's so important for each business owner out there to have a land trust for their home. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so a lot of times, in 2008 and during the deep recession that occurred, what I commonly saw was somebody had a judgment against them or there was a lawsuit filed, and most of the time it was a wife that was scared to death and they just didn't have any peace of mind. So that's kind of why one lesson I learned is a lot of times protect your home, because what I found back then and I found now is that a home just isn't about money. It's about security for you and peace of mind.
Yeah, and these times were kind of similar to that 2008 time situation. Maybe not exactly the same, but it kind of has a lot of the same feel.
Correct.
Yes. All right, so what's the reality for small business owners when they're trying to navigate some tough times here?
Yeah, so this is kind of what I'm hearing from, a lot of our hardworking small business owners. Maybe they're running HVAC and plumbing companies or contractors, salon owners, real estate investors, restaurant owners. They're telling us that business has slowed down. Their vendors aren't paying on time. Clients are cutting back on their bills. They're maybe going out to eat, but not eating as much, not eating as often. So then what happens is when it affects one business, it starts to become an effect throughout the economy. And so that's what I basically see and hear from a lot of our small business owners.
So when we talk about land trusts, maybe talk a little bit about how that can protect you and why it's so important.
Yeah, so essentially what a land trust is it is a trust for just owning real estate. So it doesn't own anything. So typically when you are husband and wife or, two spouses, the house is a primary residence, has special protection under the real estate laws called tenants by entirety. So one of the benefits of that is a creditor, if only one of you got sued, can't foreclose the property. So where a land trust comes in to be a good solution is they basically can't place a lien against the house, because what I saw around 2008, they would place a lien against the home, and even though the law said they couldn't foreclose, they would try to foreclose on the husband or wife because they knew that husband and wife would basically settle because they were scared to death. So the land trust comes in where if you do this in advance, you kind of take that power away from that creditor. So that's why doing things in advance are better than being reactive, because technically being reactive, it could be fraud.
One thing land trust will do, it takes your name off the public record, right? Which helps make it a little more difficult to connect you personally to your home.
Absolutely. So a lot of times the land trust is a private document. A lot of times public figures like it, police officers like it, educators like it, because they don't want people to know where they live for security and just privacy purposes. But a lot of times the privacy isn't the big benefit, because most people don't buy a house in their land trust. Most people have one and then they do a deed with somebody like me and put it into the land trust. So a lot of times the land trusts, in my situation for small business owners, are basically preventing a lien from attaching to the house, which means you can hopefully sell it at some point. And if you had to pay the creditor, you can kind of negotiate the terms, because typically you can't sell a piece of real estate or refinance a piece of real estate if you have a lien against the property.
So you can have the land trust and have that working in conjunction with a revocable living trust, right? Have them
correct. A lot of times they work together, and sometimes if you're a business owner or you own real estate, so sometimes there are some additional structures, and essentially the goal is where everything works together. And again, but the reason I focus on the land trust is because not everybody wants sometimes people just want to keep it simple or don't have the budget during a tough time. But a land trust is kind of a fairly simple and easy way and cost effective that you can kind of get some peace of mind.
To find out more about this or any of the things we discussed, you can contact the folks at Gateville Law Firm as they help business owners and families across Illinois set up these trusts and keep your home safe and your legacy secure. Call them at 630-780-1034. They're online at gatevillelawfirm.com and located in Yorkville. Talk to Sean and his team at Gateville Law Firm. Thanks for listening to Trust Matters Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions.